Hello, everybody. It's great to have you here for a Tuesday evening in from the steam. Very warm day today indeed, but you know what? Got to fill up the kiddie pool. And Aurora and her cousins splashed about. And then I drained the pool and washed it out. And then when everybody went home, I filled the pool back up again. And then later on in the day, because it's hovering around 100, I said, Rory, you want to go in the pool? And then Dad jumped in. I went for a swim. It's funny. Hey, listen, it did the trick. Cooled me off. On this Tuesday, July 29th, 2025, I'm happy to have you here. A lot of cool things going on that I wish I could spend some time to talk about, but then we'll have no more time left. Because these days, so much of the work is being done off camera, but you'll see it in due time. I did, however, I will say this. I did get a little bit of a taste of the new version of the intermission song. It's going to be very recognizable, but just unrecognizable enough. And I think that that's going to be great. And then we're going to move on to the outro music. And then I think I know how to get by with the same vibe and the same feeling of the intro. And we're getting it. So that's all the music production stuff is being done with all of our all the friends I know in that business that can help me out. Finally, something's moving and shaking over there. We'll see how the rest of the summer plays out with that. But and if you don't like it, I don't care, because something's got to change. It's summer 1948, and you're on a cruise ship, and it's a great night. This is from Nemo's Dreamscape. If you don't listen to some of the ASMR on Nemo's Dreamscapes, I don't know what you're doing. This is the only ASMR I care about. Scenes, outside scenes, hearing audio from behind closed doors at parties and, just things like that. Front porch music. Of course, the front. I can't believe we're still actually in the last hours of July. To think that it's still technically appropriate for me to start off with that other opening with the pitter patter of the fireworks in the back. The best. But God willing, next July will be here before you know it. And 5 more after that. So hold fast, my friends. Let's see here. Tomorrow, actually on Monday, we are starting book club. So make sure, if you are a book club reader, on quitefrankly.tv, on the forum, there it is. Reading assignment chapters 1 through 9 of The Body by Stephen King. It's a novella. It's less than 200 pages. It's like 44 pages a week. And guess what? Vesper over here has dropped a link to a PDF. As I told you, it's readily available out there. Now it's been served to you. Don't even have to go out there and buy anything. All the reading material is right there in the forum. Go and check it out. I can't wait to reconvene on Monday for book club, and that'll be with Lindsay Sharman for the 3rd August in a row. Fantastic. Really going to be great. Here's another thing that I'm going to start doing a little bit more, and I did it today. I went way back, 573 weeks ago. 573 weeks. To some of the earlier posts on the Quite Frankly official Instagram page. And I'm just starting to reshare some of those things because it's such an old account and there's such great stuff in there from the last year or so of the first studio and all that. And today, the image that I shared on Quite Frankly official Instagram was a shot from the engineer's station across. You can see across the studio. That's Matt. Matt sitting in the host chair of what was his very own show. His very own show, Tarred and Feathered, which was live on Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. And boy, Was it a legal liability? Was it a liability? Thank God nobody was really watching. Everybody was holding on to dear life. And yeah, so that was it. That was it. So just be on the lookout for that. I dropped that into the Patreon and the Subscribe Star and the members only sections as well. So if you're a monthly sponsor, I serve these nice nostalgia bits up to you directly to you. Hey, did you hear about this? Listen to this. This is on Bloomberg. YouTube plans to use AI to detect if U.S. viewers are under 18. You heard that right. Alphabet Inc.'s YouTube will soon be using artificial intelligence to determine whether viewers in the U.S. are under the age of 18 following increased pressure on the big tech companies to strengthen online safety for children. In a blog post on Tuesday, the company said it will leverage AI to interpret a variety of signals, including a user's video searches, the categories of content they typically watch, and longevity of their YouTube account to estimate their age. For users believed to be under 18, YouTube will automatically apply its standard protections for teen accounts. First of all, I can see how some shared accounts, like a family account, can get flagged as under 18 or something, especially if, a child is, doing their thing and all the behavior is screened and analyzed in a way that they determine this is someone that's under 18. But boy, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, please be mature. Be mature. This will happen regardless of the birth date that you entered when creating your account. We've used this approach on other markets for some time where it is working well and are now gradually rolling it out in the US. I guess that's not a bad thing. Yeah, I guess it's a bad thing if you wake up one day and all of a sudden you're limited in your YouTube because they think that you're under 18. But then again, what the hell are you watching? What could you possibly have been watching? Child safety, right? Child safety advocates say that holding tech companies responsible for age verification is key to creating a safer online experience for minors. But then again, you can just say, hey, my age is whatever. So what do you feel about that? What do you feel about that? I'm pretty sure my searches are not going to get me labeled a child, but we'll see where all of the glitches are going to pop up. Okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you on the other side of the intro, and that's how we are kicking this one off. I hope that I've yapped enough to get you into your regular seats, and now we're going to jump into a little bit more. It's a little bit of a grab baggy kind of a night. I wanted to ask you some questions about how you feel about not necessarily the WNBA, because I don't know how many people in this audience watch any of what the league puts out there unironically. I'm sure a few of you do. But it's more of just a general business question. And perhaps I don't really grasp what is going on with all of the television deals and things like that. But we're being served up another pay gap kind of a display on television and online and trending topics about pay us what you owe us and all that shit. And I want to talk about that for a little bit. We'll also talk about the Sydney Sweeney thing and American Eagle, because I think that a little bit of cultural commentary on a Tuesday night will do us all good. And I hope that I hope you call in like you have been the last couple of episodes, and that has been really, really a delight. So 914-200-0269. Like this, share this. If you're watching this tomorrow, whenever you're watching it, if we're not live, please leave a comment. Just say, howdy, Frank. Thanks for the show. Even if you don't know if it's good or not yet, it doesn't matter. Just say thanks for the show or something else. Have a nice evening. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And hold on to your butts.
Have you any idea how successful censorship is on TV? Don't know the answer? Successful, isn't it?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
I saw CNN's Aaron Burnett claim or make the claim that the shooter is possibly white. Well, that's the default, right? That's the default until you learn otherwise, and then it's just that you don't. You make a couple of brief comments about how the gun violence is terrible, and we need to tighten up these laws and get everybody better at mental health, and then it just goes away. Whoopsie daisy, just kind of hedge your bets. That's what Aaron Burnett did out there. But they're all fucking sick. They're all sick. And then of course there was the guy apparently was going after NFL offices, but he went to the wrong floor and he ended up on the 33rd floor. So, especially when you have the Blackstone black cube symbolism, 33rd floor, it's got a whole lot of Saturn. There's a whole lot of Saturn in that. So I've seen all the synchronicities and all the numbers. The numbers crunchers really going at it, and I wanted to see if Ryan Gable actually had anything on it yet, and he didn't. He hadn't compiled much more. But Ryan Gable's gonna be coming back on the show sometime soon. Actually, who else I got really, who I'm really excited about bringing on the show sometime in early fall, maybe just after the Jamboree. Got linked up with a guy named Robert Marrow, and this guy he knew Malachi Martin, and he has a book coming out in December, which is going to be on pre-order sometime over the fall of that time. And man, I can't wait. Made contact with him. I had a wonderful audience member that actually put me in contact with him, and I can't wait. There's going to be some great interviews coming up. But to be able to have a 1 degree of separation conversation with somebody about Malachi Martin, based on all of the stories that they've compiled for the book that they put together on the man and his life, the known and the unknown. Oof! I can't wait, and I can't wait to buy the book. I really can't. So that's what we had a little bit of on the crazy side of things with New York. And this guy, he had grievances with the NFL for one reason or another, but he ended up on the wrong floor, and then he took himself out, which I wish that these people would just do first. Save a lot of problems. But there you have it. Now we go on to the WNBA. A little funny stuff, a little bit of funny stuff up front, and then I just want to ask you guys something. Just in general about money. So don't worry about not knowing anything about the league. I don't either. In fact, the last time I remember my grandfather, it's probably the night before he died. I went to go visit him in the hospital, just he and I, and when I got there, he was just sitting around and women's basketball was on. In January of 2003. Like, what the hell? I said, no. Something's not right. So I put the football game on for him. I forget what the hell. It was some sort of a playoff game. I think the Raiders were playing that year. I forget. Anyway. So from there on in, since every day forth, if there is women's basketball on television, it's usually a harbinger of something bad about to happen or something just not right. Go check the locks, whatever the hell it is. But look at this. So they're playing a game and one of the players' wigs fell off And the girl grabbed her wig and just ran away, ran into the tunnel, to go affix the wig. I guess they do need a pay raise. They need better adhesive to keep these things on. I don't know why anybody is. First of all, can you imagine playing a full game, running back and forth up and down a court for however the hell long it is? What is it, 45 minutes, an hour of playing time? I don't know. I know that you're swapped in and out and you have, there are replacements and all that, but can you imagine playing a full game of basketball with a wig on? I don't even know why it's allowed. Can't imagine how many people are getting whipped in the face with all that, whatever the hell it is. What are the wigs made of? Horsehair, real hair, nylon? Is it copper wire? Never can tell. But anyway, watch the wig. Just kind of, I get everybody, even the announcers having a little bit of a chuckle. Okay, the wig came off, whatever. But then it's what happened next. I guess they don't really go into what the hell happened. I guess a fan was laughing. Somebody thought it was just a little bit too funny, and a fan got ejected. I really wish I can find out what was said. I tried, but it's just ridiculous. Every description of the incident was that they had shouted something that was derisive or just made fun of the incident, and that was it. So the WNBA is just a gag reel, to me, at least. A gag reel. But here's what we've been getting in the news for the last couple of weeks. United WNBA All-Stars wear Pay Us What You Owe Us t-shirts. This was about 10 days ago. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert awarded Minnesota Lynx forward Nafisa Collier the 2025 All-Star Game MVP trophy. Chance of pay them rained down from the sold-out crowds of over 16,000 people at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The noise was booming. Some of the loudest chants of the night. A small grin spread across Collier's face. Now, here's what I wonder about. Okay? Nowhere in this article from ESPN, which of course would never step in the way of anything that seems like, a very progressive cause where, women, especially if they're mostly minority women, are going out there for some kind of a bigger cut of something. But there is one, they don't pay any mind to all of the disparities and the actual, the fact that there's no profit in any of this stuff. And I don't know if that's something that's going to change in the future. If there's somebody out there that understands how this is structured a little bit more, I would love to hear about it. Because the only thing I don't really understand is what's going on with television deals and how that might change this in the future. But still, when was the league, Siri, when did the WNBA get founded? April 24th, 1996. Okay? Keep that that date in mind. Here's the only interesting paragraph in this entire ESPN article. With the WNBA seeing tremendous growth in recent years, including a new $2.2 billion media deal and skyrocketing expansion fees of $250 million, the players want salary structure that, in Collier's words, gives them a larger piece of the pie that we helped create. Now, I don't know what the hell is really happening out there, but I got to say, here's the reality of what's happening. Now, when you talk about the NBA, like, for example, there's an old video. Where the hell is it? I put this video up. Here it is. This is just on my computer over here. I pulled this video up about a year or two ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, whenever we were talking about Megan Rapinoe and the U.S. girls soccer team, and they are making the same kind of stink about who gets paid more than who and what is highway robbery. And we're like, you know what? I mean, go out there and get whatever the hell you think you can, whatever the hell you think you're worth. And of course, the numbers will be able to show what you're worth. But stop trying to make this into something like, a war of the sexes kind of a thing. This was a really great encapsulation of that particular subject when it came up with soccer. There is a woman that got on the air with this other guy. They're on a panel somewhere, and they're talking about pay equality in sports. She had just finished talking about how, women's soccer is just as, great and profitable, but they don't get enough television time. And that's why they're not really living up to all of the hype that men's soccer around the world get, which is absolutely ridiculous. A little bit more television time for women's soccer is not going to put them on par with the powerhouse that is any kind of male sport. It's not the case. And it didn't have to be this confrontation. None of this ever had to really be this confrontational. Nobody cares that there's women's sports leagues or anything like that. It's just getting as the years go on, it gets so much more sour and confrontational, where you have to kind of like BTFO people from time to time, and then it's just, and then like, oh, there's the misogyny that's been living under all this stuff. It's not misogyny. It's just the nature of indifference. Anyway. Listen to this. This is a really well put together 1-minute clip, though it doesn't apply completely to the WNBA. I'm still going to ask you guys a question about this coming up.
The women got paid out from.
So that's something to consider right there. I didn't really have anything else to say to that afterwards, but still, I said, okay, well, what is it all worth? What is it all worth? Because I know that I think that the NBA, they split a lot of their revenues, I think, with the players. And when I say split, I mean almost like 50-50. But again, there's so much more different here. How much revenue does the NBA produce every year? In the past 20 years alone, the average franchise value of the NBA went from $265 million to $4.42 billion US. Meanwhile, league-wide revenue for the NBA totaled $11.34 billion US in 2023-2024 season. Okay? So $11.34 billion. Now, on the other hand, since April 24th, 1996, the WNBA has never generated a profit. Ever. Never. Now, I had to go check. I knew that at one time. I had to go check to make sure that streak was still holding up. This is just from a basic Google search at this point. I compiled some stuff together. WNBA does not currently generate a profit. It has consistently operated at a loss since the inception, according to Yahoo Sports. While the league revenue has increased, which of course what ESPN was saying, particularly in recent years, expenses have also risen, leading to an estimated, and this is a big one, $50 million, a Stephen Colbert level loss, $50 million loss for 2024. Now, as far as how that stacks up to history, for most of its history, the WNBA had lost around $10 million annually. And you know how they make up that deficit? You know why they stick around? Because the NBA kicks in to subsidize them. 1996. It's going to be 30 years. 30 years. 30 years. In 2024, the league's losses are projected to be around $50 billion. The WNBA is heavily reliant on financial support from the NBA, which subsidizes the league operations. And despite the losses, the league is experiencing increased popularity and revenue growth. Now, I don't know where the popularity has come from. There's the new player. What the hell's her name? That's getting the shit kicked out of her every night. But it's really just the hype around that. And I don't know how organic all the other growth is there too. But they're saying that they're hoping that they can project something that's in the black by maybe 2025 or 2026. I don't know. But as far as reasons for continuing on with this, let's be honest. Nobody wants to cancel a women's basketball league. If they don't turn a profit for another 20 years, they'll just keep this going. They'll just keep this going. And this is a little bit more of a touchy things right there than, of course, a Stephen Colbert. But I wonder. You always wonder about this kind of a thing. I often do. My question to you is, when you have that kind of a disparity, what are we missing here? I went and I even jumped into some Reddit threads that I had popped up on Google because I wanted to see people who were fans of the league and that wanted to put some kind of a rosy spin on what was going on. Of course, it always came down to misogyny. And how people just don't want to see women do well, which is incredible when you see how our society has been set up and stacked in their favor. But no, the real question is when anybody who knows how to do even just basic income and expenses for their household takes a look at this kind of profit loss year in, year out for 3 decades, they often wonder, okay, well, if there is some kind of a TV deal that is worth a couple of $1 billion, where does that bring you? And then how do you go from what is about a 9% revenue split among the players for up to what? You want to get anywhere near the NBA's 50%? So you're going to go up 41% and like how does that all level out? I don't get it. It's like, it's logic defying math because operations like this just can't be the business representing itself in a free market. The market has got to be propped up and subsidized and allowed to live beyond its years. You know? So I don't know if anybody out there has any kind of an understanding of where this all comes from and what is where the money might be hiding that we don't know about. Hey, I don't care. If your league generates a couple $100 million and you want to negotiate with your players union and that league to get more, then go have at it. I say have at it. But it's you're not dealing with the same kind of pool that the men are dealing with in any sport. You're not dealing with that same kind of pool. So it's not misogyny. But they're gluttons for punishment. I just feel like all this has been like gluttons for punishment. You can call in, please, 914-200-0269. Like most things in the 90s, when the girls got into the action of whatever, we all cheered, but it's just harder and harder to cheer when it's all obviously built on some sour delusion now. It just feels very sour and confrontational. And it's also like gluttons for punishment in some respects. But I don't think that the people who are really venomous about all this really even know that they're embarrassing themselves. They think that they're getting pushback because of misogyny and they are some sort of necessary, sassy, corrective force in the world where they're out there about to change shit up and defeat the patriarchy once and for all, when it's the patriarchy that made this entire league possible. It's a gift, and the allowance the 30 years of allowance money to keep it floating is also a gift of the patriarchy as well. So I just want to I want to see what you guys think about that. You can call in 914-200-0269. Makes you wonder who CBS's NBA was. Makes you wonder who CBS's NBA was that was propping up Stephen Colbert all those years. Was it really just USAID? What the hell? But that's that. And now we have this. A little bit of news. Do you know that American Eagle has sold out? They've sold out of their Good Genes jeans. And now, if you don't know what that is, there was a little bit of an ad campaign that was put out there with Sydney Sweeney. She is an actress, a blonde actress with big boobs, and I'd never seen anything she was in, but you just see her around and you just know. But American Eagle's outfitters, we're going to go over to Zero Hedge for this. Marketing they have pivoted from toxic woke era, which originated from cultural Marxism. This is on Zero Hedge, like I said. To actress Sydney Sweeney's assets appeared to be the correct move for the clothing company, given that the Overton window has shifted center-right, with mainstream Americans cheering the end of woke. But the woke mob isn't taking it well. Some unhinged liberals are now comparing Sweeney's denim ad to Nazi propaganda. We're going to stop right there for a second. I want to take on a call from Jim Zell. Jim, do you have, because I don't know if this has anything to do with the financial model of the WNBA.
Frank, I wish I could tell you where the money was hidden with the TV deals, but let's be honest. You touched on the key points, right? The WNBA is subsidized by the NBA. Without the men's league, that league ceases to exist. It just wouldn't exist without the men's league. It's subsidized, and they cover about $10 million a year in losses for the WNBA every year. At least $10 million in the negative. So how this league exists, look, if they want to have a women's league, great. You touched on the other 2 points. Revenue. You look at your pool of revenue. If the revenue is not there, the salary's not going to be there. It's not really hard. It's you don't need to know, like you say, a lot about economics. If you don't have the pool of money, you can't get paid. And like you said, the expenses outweigh the costs. That's it. So you can wear all the T-shirts you want. You're not going to get paid this money. And what I find the craziest thing out of all is Caitlin Clark, wonderful women's basketball player, unbelievable shot. Have I watched some clips of the games? Yes. Have I watched a whole game? Absolutely not, because the talent level is not there. But what's ironic about it is part of the viewership increase is watching other women attack the best player that's on the court.
It's so catty.
It's almost like, how people would tune into those stock car races to watch crashes.
Yeah.
You're basically tuning into a game to watch some cat fights. That's really it, Frank. That's the only reason. And Caitlin Clark is a wonderful player. I mean, she can shoot, but I tell you this, she would get her butt handed to her by a very good high school boy basketball player. The talent level between men and women in physical sports, the gap is so large.
But you see, Jim,
you can't compare it.
You see, Jim, this and whenever a subject, a news story, or whatever the hell's going on at the time triggers a conversation like this again, I often feel it needs to be said at least once or twice that we're almost forced to have to state the obvious when there was times not too long ago where when we go to watch any of our girls, whether they be family members, classmates, girlfriends, whatever, going and competing, whether they're playing softball, if they're running track or whatever the hell else, we're not sitting up there in support in the bleachers or watching volleyball, thinking to ourselves the whole time, man, these girls would get smoked if they played a boy. We're enjoying it. We're supporting them. So this whole thing, that's why I say I call a lot of this like rage bait, of course, because they know that it's a negotiating tactic. The people who are trying to move the needle on one thing or another, and maybe some of them don't want to face the reality or whatever, but they also know this is a negotiating tactic, some kind of a rallying cry to try to ignore the basic realities of a situation in a way that call everybody around them to have to restate what reality is, and then they say, see, it's all misogynism. It's misogyny.
I guess that's the game plan, and if it wasn't for biased groups and agencies like ESPN, basically showing these, ad nauseum highlights of the WNBA, like sometimes it's like a major part of their show. Look, how many people watch the games? Like, honestly, you give me a Nielsen rating. Some people would argue between a few 100,000 to 500,000 a game. I would question that. I mean, are you kidding me? Anything with that type of rating would be canceled. 300,000 for a game to watch it. Come on, Frank. It's like it is what it is. They're not getting paid because no one really goes to the games. I bet you some of the tickets, I'm going to be honest with you, they're handing out these tickets. You show me paid attendance. You show me the stubs that are people that are paying hard-earned money, right, and lining up outside these stadiums to go into the WNBA night in, night out.
Well,
I don't think so.
To your point, Jim, if the league is solvent and making money and they're in a labor negotiation with their players, then okay, you guys work it out, and I hope that everybody gets the best deal that they can, and go ahead, get paid. But it's just a little head scratching to see these trending topics pop up, and Hillary Clinton tweeting about pay what we owe our girls and all that stuff, and still the league is on a impressive 30-year operating loss streak.
Amazing.
It's incredible that we're even talking about this. So
it's like don't break the streak, keep it going. Right?
Well, thanks for the call, Jim.
All right, Frank, have a good one.
All righty. Again, it's so ridiculous. All right, back to Sydney Sweeney. It all kind of ties in, I guess. Maybe. Let's see. Woke mob isn't taking it very well. The Sydney Sweeney, a white girl, is right there on the front of American Eagle. Let's jump right in. One leftist activist. You want to hear what this girl had to say? This is just incredible. I saw this a day or two ago. Listen to this.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
So if she were a brown-eyed brunette, then what? Brown-eyed brunette, but still considered white, then what? Nazi. Look at her eyes. Like, she just this thing just drove home. She really drove home a point. Like, do you understand the seriousness of my point? Ridiculous. Another unhappy white liberal woman then claimed that American Eagle exactly knew what it was doing with this ad to revive the Third Reich. Oh, this one. Oh, gosh. Ladies like this, they're just looking for something to do. I don't know. They're looking for some kind of an injection of youth. Get in there. Maybe I could be like the veteran or something. Steer the young ones.
Did American Eagle just run an ad for eugenics?
No.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color.
Well, I mean, I can't stand her voice. We can agree on that. Like, if everybody said, I don't like this kind of like drugged out, dragging voice kind of a thing. I'd say, okay, yeah, you're right. She can project her voice a little bit more.
My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Totally just talking about denim, right?
Yes, jowly.
Just a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman explaining how her good genes gave her personality and purity. I mean, are we really going to pretend that this isn't a little fashy-coded?
Yes, let's pretend it is. Your world sounds a lot more exciting than mine, to be honest. Let's live there for a little while.
Look, I'm not saying that Sydney Sweeney personally wrote this ad to revive the Third Reich.
Oh, you're not? You're not saying that? You think, maybe somebody out there is thinking Sydney Sweeney brought this script to American Eagle to revive the Third Reich. This is what was going to do it. Sydney Sweeney and her genes.
But American Eagle absolutely knew what they were doing here. You don't get to drop lines about inherited traits, blue eyes, and great genes while zooming in on somebody that could have walked straight off of a Nazi propaganda poster and expect...
She's real. This is real. This is a real person. This person votes. They are allowed to vote, and they do. This is a real person. It's incredible.
people not to catch that reference. Good genes used to mean racial purity in fascist circles, and now it's just denim marketing.
Oh, you're all about racial purity as well. The thing is that you are part of a group that has, again, surrendered any kind of sense of self-respect, and you have put your this is the woman who believes she has privilege as, I guess, white. She's some white thing. She believes that she has white privilege. And in her believing that, which of course is very racist, it is up to her to be able to use her white discernment, which of course comes with higher IQ on average and everything else. She has to use her discernment to be a shepherd for the sheep, for the black and brown sheep. It is her. She has to be the watcher on the wall, don't you understand? That with great white power comes great responsibility, after all.
We are watching fascist aesthetics sneak back into pop culture through fashion ads, trad wife influencers, and yes, now blue jeans.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, there's nothing trad about Sydney Sweeney. She's just kind of normal. And I guess normal is the issue. They don't like it. They don't like normal. That's all it is. And apparently American Eagle has sold out. They've sold out of these jeans. So it's crazy. But MSNBC, here's a headline from MSNBC. An opinion piece. Sydney Sweeney's ad shows an unbridled cultural shift toward whiteness. Advertisements are always mirrors of society, and sometimes what they reflect is ugly and startling. This was written by a white girl, by the way. A white girl. I think her name is Hannah something. Look at that. Ugly and startling. When was the last time you saw a white family with a masculine father in a commercial? Okay? A white family with a masculine father in a commercial anywhere. Okay? One pretty white girl in a jeans ad, and all of a sudden, white supremacy comes roaring back in unbridled fashion. Unbridled fashion. Incredible. Incredible. Who's the author again? Hold on a second. Who is the author? What was this little savior's name? What was her name? Hold on a second. It is Hannah Holland. That's right. Hannah Holland. She's a producer and a writer for MSNBC. Hannah Holland. She's just so afraid of whiteness. This lily white chick. Scared to death of whiteness. So this is just not. Listen, like I said on Thursday, this is why no one needs to understand thousands of years of history of the migration of Norse people or the culture of the Druids. You don't need, unless you like that kind of stuff. You have a yearning for absorbing history, and you just want to go there. You don't need all of that stuff to be able to look around and to see that there are people and organizations working overtime to erase any kind of representation of white people as much as you can, and of course celebrate the decline of the population and all that stuff, or at the very least, just kind of back them into a silent corner where they can just show up at work, produce enough to be taxed, have fewer and fewer children, and generally just keep their voices down. And that's just what it is. The gatekeepers are aplenty. They're from all demographics too. Okay? Bunch of Bolshevik nut jobs. So they made it clearer and clearer. So, I mean, this is the stuff that I just wanted to ask about. I wanted to put up, wanted to see what you guys think. I mean, there's so much more. I saw this in the second half. I'm going to bring up this Dartmouth SCAR experiment because you can just see the confirmation bias and other things that are just making people nuts. Let's take a call right now. Hello, go ahead.
Hey, Frank, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, good to have you.
Hey, good to talk to you again, Frank. Hey, in regards to the WNBA,
Yes.
I happen to know a little story about Matt Ishbia, who was he's the owner of the Phoenix Suns now. He was looking to pick up a sports team a couple of years ago because of the whole cancel culture thing. The Phoenix Suns needed to be sold. So he got a group of people together, and he went out, basically made them an offer. They accepted it. That was when he realized that the Phoenix Mercury also came along with the Phoenix Suns. He didn't want them. But the NBA told him, you got to take them. He offered him the same money without the, to basically turn away the WNBA, and they wouldn't allow it.
That's what was at the center of all of that controversy with the Phoenix Suns a few years ago?
No. He came in on the back end.
Okay.
And he ended up buying the team anyway. So he's got them both now.
Jeez.
Never wanted the Mercury. They had Brittany Griner and everything. He didn't want them, but he was forced to buy them.
Well, I mean,
he's taking the loss, basically, to own the Suns.
But here's the question, Jeff. But wait, Jeff. Here's the thing: if the NBA at large is subsidizing the losses that are being incurred on the women's level, then how much of that isn't he just kicking in almost like a luxury? Is it a luxury tax, or of course, because he would be direct ownership, he has to pick up the tab on a lot more than just what was going to be an expenditure of the NBA slush fund to subsidize the WNBA. I guess it would just be more on his end then.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, that's kind of the tax you have to take in order to get into that circle and be an owner, which, he's from Michigan. He was looking into the Pistons. I believe they were looking into buying the Lions, but those teams are spoken for. So whatever, a crude joke got made by the former owner of the Suns, cancel culture, he had to sell, a little bit like the Clippers a while before that. I'm not getting, but the team came up, so this was his option. And that's the way it was. So he's forced to take the loss, whatever loss there is with the Mercury, just to be an owner in the NBA. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why you would have a sport that is going to lose money for 30 years. It makes no sense.
Well, if there is, again, it's just what's the message that's being sent. It's a cultural thing. It's a social engineering thing, and it's the subsidizing. They are able to, if you have something, and we always ask this stuff. Obviously, we've been talking a little bit more about late night television lately, but up until the last week when we got all of that news coming out of CBS about the cancellation of the Late Show or the late whatever night show it is, we were always wondering, okay, well, what is keeping everything afloat and why? It can't be. We were even talking about this with the Stern show as well. What the hell is Howard Stern's real viewership actually, or listenership? It can't be justifying the hundreds of millions of dollars that they're still on the hook for. It just defies reason. But when it comes down to it, is that there are certain operations out there, and media is always something. Propping up an old brand that could be some sort of a squawk box for official stories and official releases, whatever the hell it is. They are just immune to any kind of normal market forces, supply and demand. If you are operating at a loss, any other people would have to make hard choices. You have to fire people, fire coaches, fire whatever the hell it is. You'd have to, shutter the doors, and teams would have to close down, whatever the hell it is. They have made themselves immune to any kind of consequences that you or I or anybody in this audience would have to deal with if we started any business and went out on our own. They're obviously not on their own. They're plugged into something bigger because it's the message that is sent that's more important than the actual viability of the business.
It's very true. And think about this. You finally get somebody that's got eyes on her because she's a great basketball player. I mean, she's Caitlin Clark. She's basically the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA. And people want to pay money to go see her. So they turn it into a race thing. They let her get beat up. I mean, kind of the shining star of the whole league. Everything else is just, I don't know. It's like, well, I don't want to get into it, but she's a good player. They could make money from her, but they choose to kind of let her just, I don't know.
I don't know either, Jeff, but thank you for the call. And it's just one of those things where you say, hey, well, it's not a bowling league. It's a basketball league. And you have however many dozens of teams and however many people on each team. And you got one diamond in the rough that comes up. I'm sure there's been other serviceable and impressive players in their own right that have come up through the last 30 years I just don't know about. But I have never heard anybody make a big deal about anybody like they've made about Caitlin Clark. But I would have to imagine where there is opportunity to make money off of her from a brand standpoint, you're going to need at least 50 more of her to be able to make an impact on the highlight reels that I see on Instagram. I don't turn on ESPN because I know what they're going to serve up to us. On Instagram is where I get a lot of my sports highlights. And it looks like it looks like toddlers throwing the ball all over the place. I mean, compared to what we were served up in the 90s with even the NBA today looks ridiculous compared to what we grew up with. So there's a decline all over the place, if you ask me, even if it's just, I don't know. But anyway, Travis, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Frank?
Hey.
Hey, the whole thing with this WNBA is like we're talking about Caitlin Clark. Like, she's good, dude. She's pretty good, and she broke like every record that a rookie or any player like pretty much has in the WNBA. She owns all the records and shit already. Like, it's just like everything else. Like with your show last night, bro. Like, everything is fucking fake, bro. They're gonna get your favorite musician, and he's going to come out later, and you're going to realize, damn, this motherfucker's a loser. He's pushing propaganda. What was I thinking? Same with the actors. Same every aspect of your life. They just come out, and like all these girls are good for is like, I guess, turning out young girls with this fucking bullshit mentality they have. Like, the WNBA lost $40 million last year, and that's with Caitlin Clark, like, balling out, getting them a ton of fucking, like, look, no one was even caring about these chicks, bro. They don't even have, the men have a dunk contest. The women have a fucking layup contest, bro. And these bitches are missing layups. Like, I'm 50 and I'm white. I'll ball these bitches up, except for probably Caitlin Clark, because she just drains it. Like, she don't miss. She just drains from anywhere on the court, and they don't like that shit.
Have they? Now, I haven't watched too much of what's going on off the court or what anything like that. Have they pigeonholed her politically in some way? Do they have her making eye rolling statements about what?
No, I know they were all mad because, like, I think during the off season she went and played in Europe, and like Europe embraced her, bro. Like, the crowds, they have big crowds out there, unlike here, because like, over here, it's just a bunch of fucking, like, keeping it real. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but they're all lesbians, bro. And they, like, I don't know. They're just pushing their woke shit, dude. That's what they're there to do. It's just like a wrestling, bro. It's fake as fuck. Like, they're just out there. They don't care. That's, like, probably a tax write-off for some motherfucker somewhere. And they just out there on TV, just like Colbert, like, and all these, The View. Like, these motherfuckers don't make money. Nobody watches this shit, and the ones that do, I don't know, I guess there's enough of them that they keep that shit pumping. But I think it's just to totally control the airwaves at all times and pump you full of bullshit at all times.
You know,
And you don't even know
that
what the fuck to think.
that goes into, I think that's what's so exposed with the also with the Sydney Sweeney thing with American Eagle, because
They're mad, bro, because this bitch is smoking hot. Like, what's the big deal, bro? Like, they're just mad because it's not like Michelle Obama's daughter or something. If it was her, they'd be like, oh yeah, see, they got great genes. Why do you think we made them slaves? Fucking, they'd spin it some sort of fucking way. Like, they're retarded, dude. And I'm glad, like, I'm not the only one irritated by these dumb motherfuckers. It's funny you brought it up on tonight's show.
I'm glad you got through, Travis. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, good to hear from you.
All right, take care. I mean, listen, and ladies, can I get some ladies call in as well? That would be great. That would be great, because the messaging is for you. And let's also be honest about something. Statistically, women support women's sports less than men do. Women prefer watching men play sports. Not that they wouldn't, you know, they don't give a professional athlete, a female professional athlete, their due, but it's just the nature of the whole thing here. And again, we're not coming down on a woman who has built a career on her athleticism or anything like that, but we are getting into different layers of messages and messaging. Obviously, the message is more important than anything else when a league is not showing a profit for 3 decades and has never shown a profit in the 3 decades that it's been around. So what the hell is the message there? Well, in things, you know, American Eagle, and we on television, the commercials, it's not even just a basketball game. It's whatever the hell it is. What have we been talking about with the Super Bowl commercials or anything else like that? I understand everybody wants to see themselves represented in media or one way or another. And there was never a time in my life that I never saw black people or Hispanic people on television or anything else like that. But the fact that there is almost no white people left, or any white families, or any, I mean, there's more whole, complete black families on television than there are white families. If you have a complete white family unit of like 4 people, the dad is definitely some sort of a pudgy oaf who's like crawling all over the living room floor, looking, you know, sucking Cheetos up like he's a vacuum, like some kind of demeaning bullshit. And then everything else is just mixed families where there's an Asian wife and a black father, and then kids that don't look like any of them, so they must have been adopted. Like there is just, you get messaged constantly. And Sydney Sweeney, there was one instance, Sydney Sweeney, where that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. We went back to, again, because I guess it's not comfortable enough. All these authors that are writing about the Sydney Sweeney thing, repping American Eagle, it's because it's not uncomfortable enough. They want people, they keep telling you, they want people uncomfortable. It's toxic to admire a beautiful, well-endowed woman with a BMI of approximately 24. They would much rather you look at an American Eagle advertisement, and when you look at it, you can actually, when you look at the screen, or you look at the pages in the magazine, you can actually smell the tardigrade in yoga pants through the computer screen. That's what they want to do. Some tardigrade. They put a tardigrade in yoga pants, and they try to go appeal to people. Oh my gosh. And that's just what we have. So again, I think it's really just about normal as being a problem. That's the perfect reason to dip into this piss warm pool of nostalgia that I have coming up next. I'll do that at the other end of the intermission. Let's go to Penny. What's up?
Hey. Hi, Frank.
Hello.
I just wanted to give you my 2 cents.
Great.
I think it's jealousy on the women's part.
You know, well, obviously, you're looking at you're looking at just a gigantic ocean of money on the next level up in the men's league. So, but let's also consider this. And I was going to bring this up before when I had another caller. I don't know how much how much more blood they can squeeze out of the stone to make them feel like they're doing something that is as big and important as what the other league had done to establish itself. But there was a time in this country's history where Major League Baseball, if you were a professional baseball player, if you played on the Brooklyn Dodgers and you were competing for, you were winning pennants every other year, you still needed to have winter jobs. You were on the roster. But you were living in among all the fans in Flatbush and everywhere else in Brooklyn, and you're going to the games, and then when the season's over in October or September, whenever it was back then, you're going back to a woodworking shop or a mechanic's. You're going back to the garage, or you're painting fences, whatever the hell it was. There was a time where there was no money in there either, but it got built up. Why? Because it was a brand that was demanded. Everybody demanded more of, and as money came up, and of course, collective bargaining started getting a little bit more player friendly, things blew up. But I'll tell you something: 30 years and not a budge. That's not an indicator of misogyny. That's an indicator of just market value.
Well, I think in a women's perspective, it's still about jealousy. One woman to another. If you're pretty, you're screwed. They don't like it. I see it with liberals all the time. If you're pretty, you're in deep shit.
Penny, I'm glad you bring that up, because it's not only the Sydney Sweeney thing where, man, you can see all the people who are throwing stones at her. 100%. The ogres that are throwing stones at her right now. You can talk about all of your deep-seated X-ray vision where you can see just how fascism and the Third Reich is creeping up through a Gene commercial. Okay, thank you for your insights, lady. We know that you're just jealous of this young chick with nice big bouncy boobs, and that's it. But when you go over to the WNBA, there, like Jim said when he called in, everybody's waiting for some kind of a fist fight. And when Caitlin Clark showed up, you want to talk about jealousy and passive aggressive. Holy shit. I mean, Penny, it was all over the place, and it continues.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for taking my call.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Yeah. Bye.
All right. See, Penny said the quiet part out loud. It's jealousy. It's women versus women a lot of the time. No doubt. Lindsay, what do you think?
Yeah. Hey, Frank. How you doing?
I'm well. It's great to hear from you.
Good, thank you. Good to talk to you. Okay, this Sydney Sweeney thing just instantly reminded me of nothing can separate me and my Calvins. Isn't this the whole Brooke Shields ad? Where I just think that women like seeing the idea of looking hot in jeans. What's the big deal?
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this, Lindsay, but it might have been about 7, 8, 9 years ago at this point. There were some people in the media that were really going after fit mothers who were keeping in shape, and they were really getting mad. I forget who caught most of the. Caught most of the ire there, but I remember that fit mothers were catching a lot of shit from other mothers who had just, they
let it go.
Let it go.
They let themselves go.
Yeah.
And there's, what? That's their problem. And there's this woman that, if she's even a woman, she looks so young, the hefty one that's very upset about the Nazi rising through the blue jeans, I guess. Is that what she's doing? That's how we're coming into this, right? We're bringing the Third Reich through Nazi blue jeans.
Exactly.
She's she's just really upset that we don't want to look at people who don't take care of themselves. I don't associate somebody of that stature to be somebody who loves themselves. And I guess that makes me a bad person.
No, it makes you again, Lindsay. It makes you normal, and that's what's really that's really what's at the core of all this stuff. When you, especially with the American Eagle situation, people who have been put into a very nice, comfortable incubator for abnormal. Are totally shaken when they see something that resembles traditional and natural standards for beauty that I think everybody can just recognize innately inside of them. Now, you can either just admire a beautiful thing, a beautiful person, or whatever the hell else, and just admire it, or you can look at that thing or person with absolute disgust for one deep-seated personal reason or another. And that's just what it comes down to, whether it's architecture or Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And Nike's about to get hit with the same thing. They just put an ad out of this very handsome gentleman on the putting green with his beautiful baby crawling towards him, grabbing his putter. And the same ad, the ad that ran a year ago, was of a fat woman dancing in skin tight. It was not good.
Wait,
so
I think I have it. I think I have the side by side that you're talking about. Wait a second. Let me see if I can get this up. Okay. I see it. Oh, yes. No, I'm going to do this right now, Lindsay. Thank you for the call.
Okay. You're welcome, love. Talk soon.
Yes. Talk to you very soon. All right. There is a side by side. Oh, man. So we got the 2020 advertisements when we literally entered the Twilight Zone. And then 2025. Now you could say, oh, these are corporate. These are corporate 180s. It's all money. They don't care about the culture. They just want to be able to get back in with a much larger consumer base, and then they're going to pull the rug again. Whatever. It still shows you. It still shows you the two-tone nature of this farce. On 2020, there you go. Nike up top, to the left. Own the floor. And again, there's a tardigrade in a yoga suit or whatever the hell it is, tree trunk legs, and I don't get it. Have fun, whatever. And then here we are, a white white golfer with a small child that is not even walking yet, is crawling across the putting green to grab the putter. And Nike, it says, you've already won. That's an incredible. Now, the comparison is what it is, and I don't care about all of that stuff. I don't care if black people, black women, anybody gets to be on the front page of a magazine or the inside, a centerfold or whatever the hell it was. I mean, we grew up with Tyra Banks all over the thing. We didn't complain about Tyra Banks all over our mothers and aunts' Victoria's Secret magazines that were coming to the houses that we would steal. We didn't care. But there's something else here. It's the distorted, morbidly obese bodies. It's not even necessarily the skin color. It's just distortion of health, of reality, of, whatever. And again, there you have I love that golf one. The guy with the son, the crawling child on the putting green. You've already won. Yeah. Who cares who wins the back nine? Who comes out on top of that when you've got a child and just the whole thing that is a family? That's big. That's a big change. And then you have American Eagle down here, which is, again, a very corpulent black woman with purple hair. And then it goes to the apparently the Nazi, Sydney Sweeney, with her 24 BMI. Looking very squishy. So I'm going to be back with some more of your calls and everything else. Don't go anywhere.
What is up, guys? Mike Collins here from Wandering Wolf Productions at Easter Island, and you are watching Quite Frankly.
Welcome to Perpetual Health Minute, brought to you by Quite Frankly. Today, we're going to take a look at another sponsor for the Quite Frankly Jamboree, September 5th and 6th. The company is called Verso, and they make a really fantastic and interesting line of what I would consider longevity supplements. I was introduced to them at the first Perpetual Health retreat, where I actually tried their Cell Being product. And you can see on your screen here, they've actually created a few new products since I was last introduced to them. The one I want to highlight today is the Morning Being product. And essentially, this is a replacement for your coffee, or it can be an addition to your coffee. And I want to call your attention to a couple of the ingredients because I think this is what makes this product super interesting. And I've been experimenting with it over the last month. In fact, if you've seen me on the show in the last month, I've been in a fasted state and I've been using Morning Being to help accelerate and support that fast. And I want to go through some of the ingredients really quickly with you right now. So this has ingredients like moringa, which have antioxidant properties. We have cacao, which we all know polyphenols, theobromine can help improve things like blood pressure. But here are the two ingredients that I think are super interesting. They've added electrolytes like sodium and magnesium. And very often when you drink coffee, since it's a diuretic, you're actually losing minerals. So they've added the minerals back, which is really a smart thing to do. But then they've added epicatechin, which is a green tea extract. And the thing I love about epicatechin and why I use it during a fast is that it does two things. It helps suppress appetite, but it also increases beta oxidation. And beta oxidation is fat mobilization. So you're getting bang for the buck in two places. You're getting the control of your appetite, but you're also getting to upregulate your body's ability to use its own fat stores. So in a fasted state, this is actually a very potent product. So again, I use it in place of coffee because I like to cycle coffee. But if you want to use it in addition to, that's fine as well. And again, if you've seen me in the last month on the show, I've been using this every morning. What I've been doing is putting about 10 ounces of cold water in a mason jar, putting it in the freezer with this product just to get cold enough where it kind of turns slushy, shake it up, and it's like an iced coffee. It's pretty amazing. And the other thing, the bag is $65. So I did a little bit of math for you guys. That's 30 servings. So that breaks down to $2.17 per cup. That's pretty amazing when you think about all the money that people spend at a place like Starbucks. And here you're getting made in the USA ingredients, much higher quality, and they're going to support your fasting, but they're also going to support your quest for longevity. And that's what we do here on the show. So if you haven't checked them out yet, go to their website, ver.so. Check out their product. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on perpetualhealth.substack.com. You can also go to Rumble, which is Perpetual Health CO. But for now, and as always, back to the show.
This drone does not have rights. You understand that?
All right. All right, everybody. So we're back, and I'm going to read some super chats. I'm going to take some more of your calls. That hasn't happened to me in a while. Thank God. Remember that? You remember that nagging cough? Oh my gosh. Particle wood. It's not good enough. I'll have to hit wood afterwards. I'm going to the super chats now. Grimbold72 says, support my friend Frank. Thank you so much, Grimbold. Listen, you know what? If you don't have, if you're not able to super chat tonight to send in a hello or a thought, a joke, or just a general support of the show, please make sure you do one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are right now, whether it's live or on demand, hit like, hit it. Please Let's make it 1 like per person watching. It would go such a huge way in just delivering the show and suggesting the show to people who are already subscribed. That's all I care about. With the numbers that we have subscribed to us, we can create our own momentum for growth. Very easy. Please encourage each other to like the show and leave a comment after the show. They will wake up this channel in ways that we never thought possible in just a week or so of consistency. So I have to be consistent with it as well. So just telling you guys. Thank you, Joe Martinez. Grimbold again says, seen on the Twitter a while back, some sports book had lines on the ladies throwing a brick on their first shot. You can bet on anything. You can bet on anything. Jay Britt says, another great discussion, Frank. Check out the clip I emailed you. Interview with a young WNBA fan. Well, let me see. I don't know where that, maybe I can take a look at. I don't know. I'm interested for right now. I usually don't do this. Kid just wants to eat at the buffet. Is this it? Hold on. Oh. WNBA? I think this is it. Hold on.
A bunch of friends. Are these all your friends? No? Okay, well then why are you here? Do you like Chicago Sky? It looks like you do.
I have never heard of this group. I have never heard of this.
You've never heard of Sky basketball, the women's team? You know they won the championship, right?
No.
You didn't know that? Well, now you do.
No, I do, but I don't really know.
All right, do you know who the Sky is playing today?
No.
What are you looking forward to today with this group?
Buffet.
We should get you on the court today, huh?
Okay.
Let me see how you shoot your threes.
I don't shoot.
I feel like that's an interview that Aurora would give as well. I feel like kind of has the same demeanor of Aurora. I'm here for the buffet. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know who the Sky are. I don't even know who these kids are. Thanks for that, Jay Britz. That was nice. Oh boy. Okay, well, let's go. Let's keep going. Jay Winard says Nielsen doesn't even watch the WNBA. Oh, because I just went to go check it out. I don't know what I didn't look at what came back. I was going to check out the Nielsen ratings for that, but they don't even monitor that. I wonder if somebody else does. And there's so many ways. The digital ratings, it's very easy to get digital now. There's so many people streaming. I have to imagine that they have very finely focused numbers. I'd love to see all of what the advertisers get, unless they're line advertisers. All right, Grimbold again says they need a short man NBA. Take the shortest guy currently playing and make that the height limit. Maybe lower the hoop a bit. That's interesting. That's a very interesting thought. Well, you guys can continue to send me that through YouTube. Quite frankly, superchat.com. That is the super chat portal that makes the show the most amount of money. So with no 30% taken out, it's just letting you know. All right, let's see. Tommy Jekyll on Rumble says, I'm the first in Rumble to rant before Jay Semo even. Didn't think that would ever happen. Tommy, you have an opportunity to do that every night. Things have been kind of serene over there on Rumble lately, although the numbers are nicer tonight. I know it's the middle of the summer and people are out and doing their things, but great to have you out there, Tommy. Grandma Grateful says, my favorite family show was early 2000s, The Osbournes. I had to put on closed captions, though. You like, I mean, we watched a little bit of The Osbournes. Obviously, it was a great sensation because it was so outrageous, but it was outrageous. I probably couldn't watch it. I just saw that, and either Netflix or Amazon just put the whole set of seasons of the Osbournes on there, and you can watch it. I didn't watch it, but I saw somebody's in the middle of watching an episode. It was probably my mother. We all share a Netflix account. It's probably my mom watching the Osbournes. She just probably wanted to go back through memory lane because everybody was watching it together. We would all watch that shit as a family sometimes. Jay Semo says, great show as usual. There you go. Jay, somebody just mentioned you before. And Pablo Wenscabar says, the kid was like women playing basketball? That's dumb. B-ball, that's buffet ball. Oh, by the way, last night I thought I was going live just for the pilled crowd, but apparently when I X'd off of everything on Restream, it kept me live. So, yeah, everybody got a little bit of a bonus there. Safety Net says, thank you, Frank, for all that you share. Great guests, interviews, music, and the many laughs. You're so rare. One love, Lynn. Tomorrow we're going to have we have Jay Gulinello coming in tomorrow night. We're interviewing a really, really awesome person. Her name is Chanel, and she started a company called Signals. It's a meal replacement company. They're one of the sponsors for September. We have a little segment with her, but really just about her work as a biochemist who wanted to create a animal-based meal replacement shake that is all based in ancestral diets and stuff like that. So it just the biochemistry background and all that is really interesting. Much like the great conversation we had with Natalie from Dulce. So that's going to be cool tomorrow night. But I have so much other stuff to talk about with Jay. I think we might maybe jump into finally the organ harvesting situation, because the organ harvesting story, which of course got a big bump from RFK a couple of weeks ago, ties right into that old question that we all had about brain death and what it is to be brain dead. And there, yeah. Okay, Squickly says, it sounds like WNBA is another money laundering scam to me. You can say so. It is definitely a zombie body. It defies all of the normal rules of economic, I don't know, any kind of a business. If you set up a business, whether it be a lemonade stand or, I don't know, you name it, the rules you're going to have to abide by, the market forces that you're going to have to live under, is just not the same ones that the WNBA has to. And things like, and late night television, things that you just don't understand how it's viable, and you realize it isn't. But eventually there's a straw that broke the camel's back. That's not the case with the WNBA. So, but you know, that had been the case with CBS for a long time. The real question is, who was helping subsidize the $40 to $50 million all those years that they were probably losing all that money? You say, oh, only 9% of Stephen Colbert's audience was between the ages of 18 and 40 or something, whatever the hell it was. That 91% were in approaching retirement age into geriatric. Well, that just doesn't happen overnight. That doesn't happen overnight. You know, 9% of your audience is considered to be younger working age consumers. That doesn't happen overnight. That kind of a shakeout in the audience has definitely been there for at least 10 years. At least. You know, there's always people passing into the older categories as the years go on, but you'd have to imagine this 9% viable audience thing is it's been that way for a while. Swickley says, what is massagey? You mean like a handy J? What did I say, massagey? Did I say massagey? Captain Flint says, the money I pay to keep my son and myself in hockey would probably cover a WNBA player salary. Captain Flint, that is what I hear. I don't know much. I don't have any personal experience around hockey, but we have branches of our family that are very into it. Very into it. We got cousins that are playing semi-professional right now. Everybody else is coaching locally and have been for decades. It's a great passion, and I know that along with that comes a lot of money. Just a lot. That's what I've heard. The Sentinel says maybe the NBA should take a lesson from Doge. If your business model needs to be subsidized to exist, it is not independent or needed. We did watch the Osbournes and the Simmons family, Jules, back in the day. Oh, wow. I forgot about Gene Simmons' show. I think we were watching a little bit of that as well. Yeah, we watched that. Simmons Family Jewels. Wow. Damn. Bar trivia? I would have forgotten that even happened. I really would have. So, incredible. All right, 914-200-0269. But again, like I said, we've got a whole bunch of, I got some things over here I got to show you. Now, you know, we're talking about the mindset behind a lot of these organizations and all that. And then I figured that this might come in handy, because you talk about especially the Sydney Sweeney thing and what people are used to infecting and getting into all types of media, the headlines, the blogs, the big name brands in fashion and whatever, all kind of genuflecting before this real distorted view of reality, this fun house kind of a world. And it made me think about the real bottom of the barrel. The brands, especially the media outlets that live for this kind of stuff and will never, ever pull themselves away from the message. And that brings me to a recent thread that I found that was compiling some of, well, as they said, absolute bangers that Slate Magazine had put out over just recent years. Now, I don't know if Slate ever was in print, but I've only ever known them in digital mediums. And man, this used to be one of those things that I would go to Slate often to find whatever the new crazy thing is. Maybe I should go back there, to be honest. That made for some really fun nights. Just every paragraph was jam-packed full of crazy. Absolute crazy. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see. Here you go. Here it is. Ready for this? Slate. My wife wants to date women. She says I can date too, but only other men. Okay? Let's talk about what the WNBA, huh? Do you remember where? Okay, here you go. Another one. This is from January 13th, 2017. Looking for a book to help resist Trump? Try this gay immigrant Muslim furry romance. That's real. This is not The Onion. Not The Onion, everybody. Here you go. My husband won't take his mask off, even for sex. Oh, I remember reading these. We're both vaccinated now. When will this stop? We might have actually covered this one on the show. By the way, get the kids out of here. Kids, get out. Uncle Frank's got to talk to your parents, your grandparents, your babysitters, your uncles, your aunts. Go. They gone? Okay, great. Because this is going to get worse. You don't want them to. This is like another world. Here you go. Deodorants were created to solve a fake problem and thrived thanks to the patriarchy. You know, these are the women who are just like, if you can't take my stink, then you don't deserve me. You know, you can't take me and my stink and my hair. You don't deserve me. You're right. I don't. I'm done. Thank you. Thank you for putting me in my place. Can you leave the room now? It wasn't a problem. Wasn't a problem. Here's another one. Even Slate text alerts created amazing content. Slate text notification center. Was Donald Trump good at baseball? Somebody retweeted it, said, who gives a shit? And then Kurt Eichenwald responded and said he was interested in baseball when he heard you could steal bases. Then he found out you didn't get to keep them while laughing at people you took them from. So he dropped the idea. These people are, I can't. Again, real people. Here's another headline from Madeline Billis. I wrote about heartbreaking decision that I wish and so many others didn't have to make. And of course, what's the deeper issue? She adopted a pandemic dog and then had to put her down. And she learned that she's far from alone. I got a pandemic dog and I guess got to kill the dog or something. I'm done with this. Here's another headline from Slate from October of 2020. Want to see less racism and sexism in classical music? Well, stop calling Beethoven by his last name. Stop calling famous composers by their last names because this is going to tie into sexism and racism, my friend. It will tie in if you just give it a chance. Here's another one for you. Nonviolence from this is Christmas Eve. This is a Christmas Eve post. 2020. Nonviolence is an important tool for protests. So is violence. Best of 2020, a history of violent protests. So they're actually probably going down memory lane at that point. Because, of course, this is at the tail end of the year where everything was burning and people were getting attacked on the streets. And there's the looting and there's the arson and there's Chaz and Chop. And there's all the fake civil rights and the dancing nurses and all this shit. And, everybody getting arrested on beaches for wanting to have fresh air and bringing their dogs out of the house. And then, of course, there was the election, if you want to call it that. So I guess that must have been like a memory lane kind of a thing for them at that point. Here's one. Now, I don't know if this is a typo or just because they didn't want to say, the CDC has appealed to gay and bisexual men to be on the lookout for monkeypox. To some, that sounds like dangerous stigmatization. Okay? To some, why? Why are you telling men and gay and bisexual men, even though it was only happening to them? They're calling, and it is very. You remember how kit gloves had to be put on when they were reporting on where it was all being spread because it was being spread like European orgies and things like that. And anyway, could monkeypox bring a new wave of homophobia? No. Nope. It's just you guys. It's just you guys. Absolute diabolical stuff. I'm not going to even read this one to you. I can't. This one I can't even read to you. This is disgusting. If you want me to read it, press 1 in the chat room. I'm looking at the chat rooms. Press 1. If you don't want me to read it, press 2. If you want me to read this next one, press 1 in the chat rooms. I'm looking at all of them. And press 2 if you don't want me to read it. I'm giving you about 10 seconds. Let's see what everybody. All right, yeah, there you go. All right, well, you asked for it. Like I said, make sure the kids are in bed. This is an excerpt from a human interest article on Slate. There is nothing on Slate that is of interest to human beings, by the way, but that's the category it's under. A few months ago, this is a testimonial, I guess, I started a more stable relationship with a man, Boris, who was understanding of my past and supportive. I wonder what the past was. Respecting that Boris seemed disinclined toward my safe drug and alcohol use, I stopped that behavior. However, secretly, I've continued to long for my past alcohol and drug use because of the sexual liberation it gave me. And secretly, I have started indulging one of my fantasies. God forgive me. I keep Boris's ejaculate in my mouth, discreetly spit it into a kitchen glass, and then usually the next morning I use the dehydrator and spice grinder to dry and grind his semen into a fine powder. I later ingest the semen dust using a straw to snort it. We are so badly in need of help. We're so badly in need of help. I don't think it's a LARP. I think it's real. I don't think it's a LARP at all. I think it's real. I think it's real. People are like, I take my one back. What'd you think? What'd you think this was? Oh. It's just not right. It's so wrong. And there's more to, I mean, I've had other things said my way. Well, let's see. Are we done with the slate? Oh, here's another one. Stop telling Ruth Bader Ginsburg to retire. It's counterproductive. Hey, thank you. Thank you for not retiring, Ruth. It's perfect timing. The exit was timed perfectly. You know, out of all the things that we have made to have to just accept, and we didn't get what we wanted, at least we got a really great opinion on abortion. And there's more. There's more, but of course you can't fit all the crazy into one thread. So maybe we'll go back to that one day. And again, maybe I'll start jumping into the slate a little bit more. You know what? Just in general, but that's what I wanted to bring up. Now I'll just open up the lines. We'll talk about whatever the hell you want to say. And again, like I said, normal being a problem. That slate, I know it's for a very specific kind of viewer or specific kind of readership, but that is the kind of mentality that was driving American Eagle and Nike to do shit that perhaps they tried out because they wanted to make sure that, okay, well, if this is really where we are going to go for the long haul, which I don't know how you could ever feel that way. If I were in charge of Nike, and I saw everybody going absolutely nuts with gender dysphoria and everything else, I would hold firm knowing, hey, we can set ourselves aside apart right now from all this stuff and give people something that is solid and sane and uncomplicated. Because, of course, it's either this corrects itself and we come right back to center, or it overcorrects and there's a major, fires and pitchforks to find the degenerates who are doing this to our culture. But no matter what, it's going to either correct or we all die, because a species cannot live on this kind of nonsense that drives the alphabet people and everything else. A species can't survive on that. You can't survive on these degraded standards of beauty. You can't survive on the deprioritization of building families and marriage and tradition. You can't deprioritize that and survive long. And we haven't. The change in the culture only started back in the 1960s. The 1960s. Remember what we were talking about with the, what was it? It was when Leonardo and Chrissy were in here, and we're talking about that, the societies that the different levels of sexual morality that they engaged in, and what that meant for the longevity of a society. And this doesn't last long compared to our history here on Earth. The 1960s? No. Yeah, a lot of damage can be done, but it'll self-correct or we disappear. All right, let's see here. Yeah, call on in. Let's take some calls. 914-200-0269. We'll start bringing in other thoughts from you along the way, and away we go. First one up is for 845. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, you're missing. Hold on, I'm sorry to turn you off. You're missing a little piece of the pie. You're banging around it, but it's not being spoken about. So half of the pornography, and I call it pornography. It's not pornography. It's actually human violence on video that people are consuming. Now, if we're talking let's just talk about 2000 internet, and then we'll talk about phone and that availability. What these kids are watching, and now these kids are in their 20s, and they're the ones who are influencing this shit. So you think about the shame that a young man feels sometime after self-pleasuring. And you think about the fact that half of the people that are consuming this really, really toxic material are girls. We're not talking about that. It's been inundated. It's been called one of the greatest bioweapons in the history of humanity because it kills the ability to love yourself. They see these things. I don't get too deep in the woods here, but it's an angle.
It's a very important angle. It is, and anybody that's grown up. I mean, we were the first. My generation was the first one that really grew up with computers and their capabilities.
Heck, we had VHS tapes. I had a neighbor, Mr. Ward. He passed away. We spent a summer hanging out in his house. He turned into a clubhouse. He had no family, nobody. It was just an empty house, and he had a stash of Playboy books. And this was like hitting the jackpot. And you know what? You looked at those things and you imagined your wife someday. Like that was a thing. The things that the kids are being fed these days, and I think Trump should come down and really, you know what? I'm not somebody, but you know what? The Clintons took away the part of the Department of whatever the fuck to go after people that created pornography. So my old uncle, he was in whatever he did, but there were blue movies, and you sold them to bachelor parties. But this vociferousness, it seems to really be a female reaction to shame. What we're seeing here, these really angry women, it comes from a deep sense of dissatisfaction. They and it's also they're ashamed of their sexuality because we have this really distorted picture of the way people actually are in real life. And when you really talk to people, get to know people, and you understand, you know what, even man, woman, we're not that fucking different. And you have these drives. Men have these drives, and we're ashamed of them because it's our animal nature peeking through what we want to be, this perfect fucking life. And these really angry people and WNBA, there's something there, but it's being polluted by a minority of the women that are angry and shameful.
Okay. All right. Well, it's really interesting points and very an angle I'm glad you brought to the table because there's the whole shame angle and especially the pornography angle. That it's true to a great degree. I think everybody is dealing with shame in one way or another, and then of course there's numbness. There's numbness, especially with the inundation of it all. And there's a lot of misspent time, no doubt. Porn actually angers me now. It angers me, and not because it's just all over the place. That's the main thing. It's one thing when somebody ventures off and they just go visit a website or something like that and they go seek it out. But the fact that, sometimes your whole your everything that you're concentrating on, all of a sudden there's just an ass clapping in your face when you're researching something and all of a sudden there's an ass clapping in your face. I mean, come on. I'm seeing a lot less and less of that now because I've been saying not interested on Instagram and other places, but damn, man. And that it's not because asses aren't beautiful, but it is it's very, very dangerous. It is dangerous. And it warps things. I still constantly I constantly think about warped perceptions and expectations in relationships and all that stuff that it just sometimes are unconscious. You realize you got it it's not a real, it's just not a reasonable expectation for anything when you think about what the hell is imparted to young kids all throughout their high school and college years when you're talking about that in particular, porn. So, and it's a struggle, man. It really can be. Because it becomes a lens through which you see the world. A lens through which you see the world. So I think that there's definitely something to be said about shame. And there was something when Vincent was talking there that I had seen in my head. It was a great point I was going to make, and I totally fucking lost it. But it was a good one, and that's a good angle to it. It really is, because again, you say there's nothing really wrong about there's nothing wrong about men and women's sports, but like everything else, it's not about that. Like women in the military, it's barely about serving your country anymore and whether or not a person can. It's always very combative, and it's always very there's something that tries to scramble up an aspect of society, like at the roots, and it's disruptive. That's what I feel like. There's always a disruptive element to everything, and you can just tell when something is well intentioned and when something is just nonsense. Anyway, let's take a call. King just got through. What's going on, King?
Hey, what's going on there? I'd like to comment on the story you read there about, obviously, from left-wing commie douchebags when they said nonviolence is acceptable in protest, but also violence.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to respond with responses to them protests with violence is also acceptable. Like maybe some German shepherds and fire hoses. Know what I'm talking about?
I listen. At that point, yeah. The one thing that we have not seen, we have been able to completely skirt around somehow. I think that there has been a lot more property that's been allowed to be damaged because nobody wants to go out and just put everybody in their place. And
that's what I'm saying, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, we're in agreement.
You know what I mean? Well, if your protest violence is acceptable, then our response to it, our violence, is also acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, but again, that's when we get down into rights and duties and who is the arbiter of morality, and usually that is deferred to the central authority, and the central authority and its media. We know where it lines up. And even if they are out there setting fire to one neighborhood or another, or under one banner or another for one cause or another, depending on who is responding to the violence that may be acceptable to them, it doesn't matter who started it. It's the person who's going to respond is going to be painted in a certain way, because again, they're the arbiters of reality. So yeah, all things being equal, I understand what you're saying. But
yeah, I don't care how I'm painted, you know that.
Understood. Yeah.
Could I, if I may, Frankie, if you allow me, could I end this call with a self-serving, shameless plug?
Sure.
Well, people and Frankie, I will be releasing my new heavy metal song called "Get Dressed, You're Going" on my new YouTube channel in the next month.
Really?
So look out for that.
Look, well, whenever it gets released, I can't wait to listen to it, and maybe we can.
I sent you a prototype. You didn't.
Yes,
you didn't get it.
I did, but when it's all finished, maybe we can premiere it.
All right, yeah. So within the next month, people, get ready for my new heavy metal song. Get dressed, you're going. What did you think of it, Frankie?
I think it has a lot of promise. You're just at the beginning of a very fruitful career now.
Thank you, my friend.
There you go. There's going to be the best of. You watch, in 10 years from now, he's going to release his first best of album. There you go. All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right.
That's it. And then maybe he can get it pressed. That'd be awesome. Nobody's pressing albums anymore. Okay, 914-200. You're right. You shouldn't read it, says Jay Britz. I told you. It's crazy what's going on out there. 432, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. I was just, okay, so, somebody mentioned some stuff about, kind of the destruction of society, and one of the things that I cannot help but remember is that there was a book that I read that was written in the late 1700s called The Proof of Conspiracies that talked about the destruction of the family, the destruction of religion, the destruction of like all kinds of ideologies, the introduction of a fear through global issues. You know what I mean? It just laid out everything that we go through, just straight out in late 1700s, and it was just kind of crazy. Just a very interesting perspective on.
How did you find that book? It's not every day that you are suggested a book from the 18th century.
I came across it because somebody told me, hey, all these things that are going on. There's a book that was written about what it's going, and it does go into like the Illuminati, and it does go into technically, the masonry stuff, which you'll get a lot of pushback from, in polite society from with regards to trying to sound sane when you talk about these things. But if you read the book, it just lays all these things out. You're like, okay, all right, it just
does it project now? Obviously, writing to those themes, it needs to be able to just honestly assess human nature and our vulnerabilities and all that, and how we react to stimulus and all that other shit. But does it project into the future in the way where it even takes a guess at where we would be technologically these days?
I don't think it really spoke that much to that. It was just like, here's the direction we want to push people.
Gotcha.
And I guess it did kind of have an end game, I guess, supported in it, but trying to get to the end from, like you're saying, human perspective, just you think you can just guess what people are going to do. That's very difficult to do because people are very individualistic. So.
Yeah. That's what's the name of the book again?
A Proof of Conspiracies, I think is what it's called.
And who wrote it?
I can't remember. It's
a proof.
I can't. I jumped into it without looking at it ahead of time. I can't think of the name of it.
Is it John Robeson?
And it's like 1770. It's written in 1770 something.
1797.
There you go.
You know what? This is crazy. I know of this book now that you talk about it, because I'm looking at the author, John Robeson, and this book.
Robinson,
Robeson, not Robinson.
Robeson. Okay.
And the reason why I know it, even though I haven't read it, is because Myron Fagan mentions, I believe he mentions John Robeson's book, or at least his work, or anything else that he brought to the fore about this stuff, Proofs of Conspiracy with the Illuminati. He mentions that in that CFR Illuminati recording he did back in the 60s. So I'm gonna put this aside, and I'm also gonna go re-listen to that Myron Fagan track and see where it pops up again. Thanks for the call, man.
Hey, thanks for the chat. Appreciate you.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Okay. John Robeson, Scottish physicist and mathematician. Proofs of Conspiracy, 1797. Let me see if I can find it on Amazon. Wouldn't that be something, huh? You find anything on Amazon. Oh, wait. John Robeson, I found it. What's it selling for? $9.95 paperback. But if you get it on Kindle, which I will do right now, it's only 99 cents. Buy now with one click. And there you go. Now it's going to be on my iPad when I get home. I'll do that for some books. I'll do that for some books, especially smaller ones and whatever, because I like holding books in my hand. But every once in a while, I'll go to, I'll get something on Kindle, and it'll be good. And the good thing with the Kindle sometimes is that you can actually, when you're reading it, you can highlight stuff. And also, when you're reading anything on Kindle, if other readers who have purchased that book have highlighted other things, and a highlight starts becoming more popular, you start seeing it pop up on your end too. So it's a little bit more like connectivity. You start seeing what other readers have noticed and what they thought was of great importance. And I don't know, a little something indeed. All right, that's all we have for you tonight. I hear somebody over here asked me, "Hey Frank, did you watch Happy Gilmore 2?" Yes, I watched that on Saturday. On Friday, I watched it for a few minutes, and then I finished it Saturday night. I restarted it with Lauren, and it has its moments. The first half hour or so were, I said, "Oh no." I texted my buddies. I said, "Guys, I don't know, man. This isn't going too good." There's some stuff I kind of smirked, but it was probably around a half hour or so. Whenever he gets in, there's a montage where, of course, he's getting himself into golf shape again. And during that montage is the first time that I let a laugh out, and it's ridiculous. And from there on in, it hit from time to time. But I think it could have been a lot better. But it was just all over the place. It's so crazy. And I had told somebody on Twitter, I had put that out there, and people were commenting back, and I went back and forth with somebody, with a few people, but one person in particular. I said, I was talking with some friends and said, instead of, when you think about Happy Gilmore, the first one, that seemed like a movie. It was funny. There was some slapstick, ridiculous comedy in there. Just good stuff that we remember and we're always still quoting to this day. But I feel like this movie was a Happy Gilmore themed fever dream. It had a fever dream kind of a feeling to it, and it was Happy Gilmore themed instead of it just being a cohesive movie that kind of held itself to the same level of seriousness. This was over the top goofy. Oh, well over the top. And if that's the way it was treating itself, then you just go in there and you don't have that much of a high expectation, and you're not going to regret it, I guess. But somebody said, "Is it worth getting Netflix to watch?" I said, "No, if you don't already have Netflix, don't get it for this. Don't get it for this, ladies and gentlemen." All right. That's all I have for you tonight. Second time I'm saying goodbye. And thank you all so much. Thank you to everybody that's watching. And thank you to our Rumble ranters. Thank you to It's So Candy, who just came in now on YouTube. Says, "I bet John Robeson was a time traveler." I would like to see if we have any time travelers out there. Got to call in one of these nights. And the Sentinel just says it's free on Gutenberg.org. So if you want to read it for free, then Sentinel on Pilled just gave you a little something over there. And I'm going to do a really quick test on Pilled when I leave here too, just to make sure that I can get this restream to cut off. But thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night. Jay Britz is in the studio. Then, of course, we got a great, we got a night we got a Scientology night on Thursday night. That'll be nuts. And then, of course, there's a Summer Friday. So the next couple of nights will be really great. I hope that you had some fun tonight. Anything on your mind, leave a comment in the comment section, but you can always message me as well. And for those of you who are looking for more reason to become a sponsor of the show, aside from you love the show, and I'm here for you every night, and I put a lot of time into it. And if I weren't here, would you be sad? Would you be a little lost? Just a little bit? Obviously, you would get on with your lives. The world keeps turning. But Other than that, I give you so much stuff to become a sponsor of exclusives, of mailing things home, of samples, of exclusive discount codes now that are coming in from all types of new sponsors. But also you're going to be able to watch the inside of the room feeds that I'll be setting up for the Jamboree in September. On September 5th, on September 6th, on top of all the other things, the Sunday streams, the book clubs, the film clubs, everything else that we're going to be creating over on pilled.net as well. You're going to be able to get inside the lines on those private streams. So please, ladies and gentlemen, become a sponsor. I got to recruit this audience to sponsor the show, and that's how we're going to make really big strides in the future. So thank you. Like, comment, become a sponsor. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Goodbye.
All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.